Hello, this is Francisca. Today I would like to show you how to create Google portfolios using Google Drive for your students. So I'm going to log into Google first. And you do need to have a Google account. I'm already signed in, but it's necessary to have a Google account to use this with your students. They will also need Google accounts. So the first thing I'm going to do, if you look at the top right up here, you see these 9 little dots. So I'm going to click on that because this is where you find the menu of things you can do in Google. So here you find all kinds of things. You've got the search, YouTube, the maps, and so on. But what we're looking for is the drive. So this little triangle. So I'm going to click on Drive. And once you do that, it opens up into what's called My Drive. So as you see, I actually have several things in My Drive. But what you'll need to do to create a folder for your students is first create a folder for your class. So the way you do that, if I want to create a folder, is I'm going to go where it says New, and I click on New, and then you have these options. In this case, we want New Folder. So when I click on that, here I'm going to give it a name. Now I've already created a folder like this, so I'm not going to click Create, but you would click Create. In my case, I'm going to cancel it and go down to the folder that I've already created, which is called My Class. So once you've created a folder, this is what it looks like. And a solid folder like this means it's not shared with anybody else. So this is just my own folder. And I wouldn't share this one with anybody else. So now I'm going to click on this, open it up. And as you see, I've already created some student folders. So within your class folder, you're going to create more folders, one for each student. And the way I do that is the same process. I would just go New, New Folder, and let me call this Student 3, and then click Create. And then if you wait a second, you'll see that there's Student 3. The nice thing with Google Drive is whatever you do is automatically saved. So as you see, I don't have to click Save or do anything. It's just there, so that's very convenient. It also shows me what I just did. So if I look on the right, it tells me today you created an item, and it tells me the time, and here's my class, and you'll see it's like an outline, right? So underneath my class, I've now created a Student 3 folder. So once you've done that, the students themselves, well, before that, sorry. Once you've done that, what you need to do is share this with the students. So say student 1, you'll need their emails to do this. So the setup takes a little time, but once you've done it, it's done. So what I do here is I'm going to right-click, and when I right-click, you see these options. So you have Share. So I'm going to click Share, and then on Share, here I would put the email address of whatever the student name is here. So if you have Maria Gomez at gmail.com, I would put her email address here. And then over here on the right, there's a little drop down. So in this case, you want students to be able to do everything because they're going to be writing within the folder. So you want to make sure it says can edit, can organize, add, edit, and so on. If you create something, a document that you only want people to look at, you don't want them to edit, you would click Can View Only. And then another option of sharing, though we won't do that here, is to get a link. So you might do something like make a document that you want all your students to be able to look at. So you would get shareable link and send the students in their emails that link. But for our purposes, we want to just share one folder with each student. So in the end, the folder would be shared between the teacher and the student, and no one else would be able to access it. So once you've done that, and if I'm going to go back here so you can see what is shared, students are going to go here. It's very important when you get students working on this that they go into Shared with Me and then open the folder. Because if they go into My Drive and start writing a document, you will not be able to see it. So this takes a little practice because students will often not notice and they'll automatically go to My Drive. But if they go to Shared with Me, they're going to see the folder that you created with their name on it. And then what they're going to do And let me open this so you can see what a shared folder looks like. So once a shared folder has this little person in it, and if it's not a shared folder, everything here, because these are shared with me, are shared folders. But if I go to my drive, you can see that this is a shared folder, this is not. So if it just has a solid look here, then it is not a shared folder, but when you have this little, like a little person, it's shared. So what students are going to do once they've gone to their shared folder, let me go back to my class where we were, and then let's say I'm student 1. So student 1, this should be shared. Once you've shared it, it would have a little person in there, would open their folder like this, and now you can put, or the student can put their document in here. So when you do that, you just have this little blank area and it says drop files here. I find it easiest just to use the new button. I think it's easier for students. So you would click new, and let's say the students are going to write a document. They would click on Google Docs and select that. And this opens up into a document just like you would have in Microsoft Word. And you have all the editing tools up here. It's not as fancy as Microsoft Word, but you really have everything you need to use in this menu bar. So you want to make sure that students name their document, because just like in your documents, you don't want everything to say document, 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 or in this case, untitled document. So maybe you call it my first day of school or something like that. Okay, and then down here they would also put a title. So if they put the title here, you know, my typing challenge, my first day of school. Okay, so then here, and I would always have your students put a title of their writing. So here the student would write whatever they're writing, it would automatically save, and then you as a teacher can go back and correct it later. So I'm going to go back to this folder and go back one more. So you as the teacher, you know student 1 has done something. You can also see it in this activity on the right side. You'll know, and it would show a name. It would show somebody's name here, your student's name. So instead of my picture here and my you, it would say Maria Gomez created an item. And then for you to correct, all you have to do is go into the student folder, open their document, and then here you can make your corrections. So I'm going to just put a couple of things here with mistakes in it so you can kind of see what I do to correct. Just something, anything, just all right. So there are two ways to correct things. I like to use correcting within the document, and what I do with students is I will highlight their error, because I want students to go back and try to correct their own mistakes. So what I would normally do is you would have a paragraph here. I would highlight their errors. I would have the student go back, and I usually don't like them to erase what they did, but go down below and rewrite the paragraph with corrections, and then I would check it again. Sometimes what I do is I have students work in pairs to figure out what the mistake is. So clearly there's a mistake in this little part, right? So I'm going to go like this. I use a coding system, and I'm going to click highlight. So if it is a grammar error, I will use green. If it's a spelling error, I use yellow. And if it's some kind of just using the wrong word choice, I might use orange. But you can use whatever you like, what works for you. So that's one way to do the corrections right within the document. If you don't want to do it within the document, you have another option, which is using the comments. So up here I have comments. I'm going to click on here, and you get these choices, notifications and comment. Notice that it's not highlighted, and the reason is before I can make a comment, I need to just click on the actual word where the mistake is. So now I'm going to go comments, and now you can see that it's active. And then I'm going to go comment, and then I will put, I can put the correction or put a comment, look at the verb, and this is first person, something like that, whatever you'd like to put, and then you click comment. So in this case, the student can reply to your comment. They have that option, or they can just go ahead and fix the mistake and then resolve. So when I click this little resolve button, then the student can delete it once they fix the error. Or you can delete it as well once the error is fixed. So that's the main thing you would be doing in here. Students can put all kinds of things in their folders. If you go here, aside from Google Docs, you have Google Sheets, which is like an Excel type of spreadsheet, and Google Slides, which is a PowerPoint version on Google. And this is really useful. Students can do projects, do these Google Slides. You can have them share their PowerPoints with each other. You could do the same with Docs, have them share with each other and help each other. So there are really a lot of choices. If you click on more, you'll see there are all these other options in here for Google. So there's a lot more. But we're going to end here because I really just wanted to show you how to use these ePortfolios. These portfolios would be the students, and it's a great way to track progress. So you might want to do your first writing of the year in the fall, and then you'd have a comparison with whatever they wrote last in the spring. You can also have students create folders within this folder. Sometimes they might want to do it by semester, by month, by week, by topic that you're covering in class. So there are many options here. So I hope you enjoy using Google Drive with your students and for ePortfolios. Thank you.